Hold on to your butts, brochachos, because we might just have the episode titles for Stranger Things Season 5. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. So today, I've got a big ol' update video talking about the potential episode titles for Stranger Things Season 5. These are not 100% confirmed by the Duffer Brothers themselves. In fact, take everything I say in this video with a big grain of salt. This is all speculative because we don't know for sure if these are even the titles, but there are some eerie things that do line up to set picks that have been revealed, so we'll have to see if this ends up being legit or not. But right now, seemingly, we have the first 6 rumored episode titles for Season 5 of Stranger Things. Before I get into this though, be sure to hit that like button and comment down below your thoughts on these rumored episode titles. Subscribe and hit that notification bell to help reach my goal of 150,000 subscribers here on the channel. It would mean a lot. And if you guys want to watch all of Stranger Things with me, you can do so on my Patreon. My commentary tracks for every episode are out right now. My commentary tracks for the first episode of every season are free, and if you guys join right now at the $5 tier, you'll be entered into a giveaway to potentially win a Stranger Things Funko Pop, a Disney 4K Steelbook, and a movie poster. More info on my Patreon down below, but consider joining that today for extra exclusive content. Your support over there truly does mean the world. Without further ado, let's just get down to business. Earlier today, I'm talking less than an hour ago, Jeff Snyder went on the John Campea show. Now, Jeff Snyder has a reputation for being very hit or miss with a lot of his news, so take this with a grain of salt like I've said a few times now, because I really want to get that in your brains that this could just be complete BS. But he claims to have had an inside source from Netflix who's been working closely on Stranger Things Season 5, who revealed the first 6 episode titles to him. Now, as we all know, on Stranger Things Day of 2022, the first episode title for Season 5 was revealed to be The Crawl, which led to tons of speculation in of itself, but that's the only title we've known for quite some time now. But once we move into episodes 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, that's where things really heat up. I'm gonna go episode by episode. Again, these are all rumored titles. Supposedly, the second episode of Stranger Things Season 5 is called The Vanishing of Blank Wheeler. He did not reveal the name of which Wheeler because he said it's a spoiler and he didn't want to do that, but The Vanishing of Blank Wheeler. The first thing you'll notice with this title is that it is very similar to The Vanishing of Will Byers, which just so happens to be the series premiere of Stranger Things, the first ever episode we got of the show. But once I read The Vanishing of Blank Wheeler, my mind started to think back to the filming timeline, specifically a lot of the set pics we've been getting, and a few months back, Cara Buono, who plays Karen Wheeler, had a video in the Stranger Things broadcast channel where she talked about how it was her first day on set, and later we found out that she was filming at the hospital set. Could this be Karen Wheeler? Certainly. Or it could be Holly Wheeler. Holly spoke the final line of Season 4, which is just such a weird trivia question when she's like, "Mom, look, it's snowing." But there's been some news with Holly Wheeler recently, as supposedly Nell Fisher has been cast to play this character moving forward. She starred in Evil Dead Rise, and a while back, the Stranger Things writer's Twitter account put out a tweet saying the Evil Dead Rise and Stranger Things Season 5 have one similarity, and that seems to be the case. The actress Nell Fisher. So it could be Karen or Holly, or hell, even Ted Wheeler if you want to get crazy with it. But of the two more so main characters of Stranger Things, you've got Nancy Wheeler and Mike Wheeler. Having one of those two quote-unquote vanish in the second episode of the final season would be mad. I'm not sure if the Duffers have the guts to do that, but it would definitely make for some pretty increased stakes. As we all know, at the end of Season 4, Vecna was speaking to Nancy Wheeler, so there's some connection there, and we do know Nancy's got that trauma with the death of Barb, so I feel like it'd be sort of a safe bet to say maybe Nancy, but of all the Wheelers, I feel like Mike vanishing in this second episode would be the most unlikely. All that to say, it seems like things are heating up right out the gate in the second episode of this final season. Moving on to Season 5, Episode 3, supposedly it is called The Turbo Trap, turbo spelled with a W at the end, like a crossbow. Immediately I took to Google and looked up what a turbo trap is because I'd never heard of it, and apparently it's used for bass trapping, which allows for more coverage area and better performance of sound. It can eliminate early reflections and any boundary interference from speakers. So basically it deals with enhancing sound systems, and my mind immediately went to WSQK radio station. We know they've been here, and this is definitely some equipment that we would find at WSQK radio station. And we'll talk more about WSQK later, but apparently the mid-season episode, Season 5 Episode 4, is called Sorcerer. This could be referring to a plethora of things. So in the words of Forrest Gump, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Moving on to Season 5 Episode 5, the rumored title is Shock Jock. I read this title, and what did I do? I went to Google, good old reliable. role. Apparently a shock jock is a radio broadcaster or DJ who entertains listeners and attracts attention using humor and or melodramatic exaggeration that may offend some portion of the listening audience. For reference, a picture of Howard Stern came up when I looked this up. So again, based on the set pics with WSQK radio station playing a more prominent role, shock jock is likely a reference to this or some major plot point taking place at this WSQK radio station. And I took it one further and said, what other sets have we gotten BTS pics of? That big mansion house, we don't know who lives there, and we do know a WSQK radio van has been seen there. Could this supposed shock jock be living at this mansion, and could he play a big role in the season, or she? Maybe it's the Linda Hamilton character, who we've all been speculating about what role she's gonna play. Maybe Linda Hamilton is the supposed shock jock. Who knows? But the 6th episode title is the biggest one to talk about by far. Season 5, episode 6 is supposedly called Escape from Camazotz. At first glance, I literally said out loud, what the hell is Camazotz? Then I went to my good old friend Google and looked it up, and man oh man did I have some fun researching what Camazotz is. For starters, Camazotz means death bat, and in Mesoamerica, the bat is often associated with night, death, and sacrifice. Taking it one step further, Camazotz mythology is apparently associated with ritual sacrifice. In some accounts, he is depicted as a deity who demands human offerings, particularly victims' hearts. The gruesome practice was intended to appease the gods and ensure the sun's return each day. So now I'll ask this question. Who do we know that died in Stranger Things Season 4 at the hand of bats? None other than Eddie Munson. He was killed by demobats, seemingly at the end of Season 4. We saw the demobats eat him, and he died in Dustin's arms. Could the Duffer Brothers have thought this far ahead to add demobats in the 4th season, knowing they were setting up this greater reveal in Season 5, where perhaps Eddie was a sacrifice to this deity? And this is all speculative, by the way. What if Camazotz represents the Mind Flayer, or just the Upside Down as a whole? It's food for thought for sure, and if you really dive into the mythology of Camazotz, things get really interesting, and it's eerie how many simulators there are to things that we've seen. Obviously, you've got the Hellfire Club and the Hellfire logo in and of itself, which if you compare side by side to ancient depictions of what Camazotz was believed to look like by some of the Mayan people, similarities are scary, guys. Now, it's worth noting that Sean Levy, who directed Dear Billy and plenty of other episodes in this show, is supposedly going to direct this episode. He usually comes in for an epic ep, so this could perhaps be teasing the return of Eddie Munson, maybe as a vampire. We all know people have been speculating since he died that he could return as Kaz the Bloody-Handed, and with Camazotz being the title, which literally means death bat, we might be in for the return of Eddie Munson after all. We all know how Joseph Quinn reacted at a recent Comic-Con when he was asked about his return. He was a lot more cheeky about it than normal, so he knows something we don't, and this episode title could be a hint at his return. And one more interesting tidbit about Camazotz. Apparently it's the name of the dark planet from A Wrinkle in Time. And if you go to Raw Stuffer's Instagram posts, one of his photo dumps included a picture of the Wrinkle in Time novel cover. Things are no longer coincidences, folks. Everything is starting to line up. Again, in this context, perhaps Camazotz could be referring to the Upside Down, or just the current state of Hawkins, and escaping from that might involve time travel. All of our theories are getting more and more evidence that could make them feasible in this final season, and I cannot wait to see how they pull this thing off. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Now, when it comes to the 7th and 8th episodes of the final season, there are no titles yet, apparently, but remember, these are all rumored titles that could change. If you go back to the Season 3 episode title video that was posted years ago, multiple of those titles ended up not being final, so take everything with a grain of salt here, but regardless, it makes for a lot of theorizing and speculation on our end, especially Escape from Camazotz. On top of the episode titles, we also got the rumored directors for every episode of the season. For Season 1, Episode 1, it's supposedly the Duffer Brothers, which we know to be confirmed. The Duffers are also supposedly directing the 2nd episode of the season, but Episode 3 is where things heat up. Apparently, Frank Darabont is directing this episode and the 5th episode, which is interesting because both titles of those episodes relate to WSQK radio station, so they could have shot them back to back easily. But also, Frank Darabont directed The Shawshank Redemption, the #1 rated movie on IMDb and one of the greatest films ever made, period. He also directed The Green Mile, and he was early on involved with The Walking Dead. The man knows how to direct television and cinema. Sounds like a great snag for this final season. And then for The Sorcerer, Episode 4, the Duffer Brothers are supposedly directing that one. So those are all the rumored Stranger Things Season 5 episode titles that we know of as of now, according to Jeff Snyder on the John Campea Show. And again, I can't emphasize this enough, this is not set in stone, none of this is locked in. Who knows if any of these are actually going to be accurate. I just wanted to talk about it because, hey, rumors are fun to talk about. But what do you guys think of these rumored titles? Let me know in the comments down below, and be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to help reach my goal of 150,000 subscribers here on the channel. It would mean a lot. And if you guys want to watch Stranger Things with me, you can do so on my Patreon. My commentary tracks for every episode are out right now. Your support over there means the world. I watch not only Stranger Things, but other movies and TV shows as well. So consider becoming a Film Stock patron today. Your support truly means more than you will ever know. But thank you guys, as always, for watching. And until next time, I'll see you on the other side of the Upside Down.